Hey folks, good afternoon. I'm just taking a quick break right now and trying to do some things right now. So, I want to talk about something that is really simplified for some people, but it's not really um, an aspect that people want to talk about. There are a lot of things in this world that people are unwilling to discuss. Everything from the passing of an individual or preparing the passing of an individual to the idea of racism, prejudice, things like that. This question came up to me just a few weeks ago because for me, I've always been very open minded and very open about my opinions and values, things like that. My grandmother, who was an educator, taught me that the relevance of one's own development, no matter if you're a conservative, liberal, or or moderate, or whatever. The idea is based on the simplicity of humanism, where people can understand your point. But the problem with that in today's world is people don't understand each other because we have an idea where who can shout the loudest wins. And in my case, I can do the same thing what everybody else does. But one of the things that I do differently, and it is very funny because I get criticized by everybody, no matter if they're liberal, moderates, whatever, because that's the point of the way I talk and the disgusting is that you can shout the loudest, you can shout the longest, you can shout the most, but it's not what you endeavor to to show that makes it reflective to your situation, but it's how you do it directly or indirectly. So, in the last few weeks, I've seen so many people hit each other from every subject matter, from the talk about abortion to the talk about prejudice and racism to the talk about equating financial gains and losses. But people are sticking to their guns on every matter because of people's statement. One person said it best: I'm sticking because of my principle. What really is funny is when I start asking questions from all perspective, liberals, conservatives, and moderates, and everybody else in the middle, they start thinking. Because the problem we have here is people are unwilling to think about the situation based on the thing that I learned as a child, and you and I, all of you have learned the what, when, how, who. Those are the key points. Those are questions that people don't want to ask because they're so painful, or what my friend said, because it's also something that is indicative to one's fear, one's own problem, their doubts, and their own dilemma with their self and their ego. So my question to you guys is, how do you think you guys are really independent, no matter what your views are? How do you think you would construe to others by your opinion? Because I've seen so many people posting on things in social media and pointed out some certain points, but one has to ask, can you back your point? My grandmother said it doesn't matter what your opinion is. It doesn't matter what your ideal value is. You got to stick it with some kind of real evidence. That's not an issue about conservatism, liberalism, or anything like that. It's about the integrity and character of the person. Can you stand your opinion? Like any scientific um, documentation that you and I have to write in college and high school, can you stick it with the evidence that is present? Can you put the evidence in your argument and fight with that value pointed in or pointed out? The reality is a lot of people don't. I had one guy tell me, "Well, you know what it is." No, I don't. So explain it to me. And he could not. Because the problem is people hear things and they construe in their head and in their idea that the point is right. Even if it's right, give me the standard simplified evidence to support your argument. That is not an issue of liberalism. It's not an issue about conservatism. It's an issue about something that we all knew for years. It's called identification and verification of the facts that is supported and counter supported and verified in many forms and function. If we can't have those verification and you cannot provide those ideal, simple, and even minute supporting evidence, what you have is a hearsay. That's a personal opinion without facts to support it. It's something we all learned in college and high school, even junior high and middle school. When you provide evidence, you provide it with the facts. The problem is, like somebody once said, people fear facts as much as they fear history, because history and facts create the real, what I call it, shield that prevents the true aspect of change that people want. When people don't want to hear the facts and the truth, they prefer to hide from all those that is the truth, because the existence of that information and tangible supporting evidence is too damning for many to believe to be true. Before I go, I want to reiterate also why this is important. A friend of mine lost his family member years ago. And the truth about the situation was so painful that when the person passed away, my friend and his family realized that the pain that the love, the person who passed away was so tremendous that he was very scared what happened in his life, that the reality of what happened just came to life after the fact he passed away. If he was honest and people were really supportive of his situation, they would have realized he could have gotten the help he needed. That's the problem when people are unwilling to ask the hard questions, because the pain and the personal ego comes out and people are fearful of the unknown. That's the human thing. That's why we have prejudice. That's why we have racism. That's why we have doubts and fear. People are fearful to break that barrier. Again, this is not about everyone or anyone or someone. It's about all of us, the humanity of life. We have a lot of fear. We have a lot of doubts. We have a lot of concern. That's why people are fearful to ask for help. They're fearful to seek the truth and answers because they rather hide through politics, through the quagmire and smokescreen of doubt. My grandmothers, both of them, were never perfect like anyone else, but they guided me with wisdom, with understanding and experience to believe that everyone has their good days and bad days, but the good souls in each of us should be embodying in our decisions daily. We help each other, we help those who need help. The power of fear, the power of greed, the power of disillusion is real. So please talk about the hard subjects in your family, in your life. Because unless you break those barriers, the question that you will need to ask will be too late when that person passes or when the situation has gotten worse. Things could have been changed if people are willing to talk about it or willing to bring it up. Fear and hate, too powerful. But the way you could make a difference starts with how you do it. So, what do you think? Are people really scared to talk about everything in life? Because fear and doubt and the unknown is becoming the real aspect that people are so scared to be in. So tell me. For now, take care, have a nice day, and of course, stay safe.